Hello, my dear students. It's Dr. Yogesh Kumar Tiwari, presently working at Government Ma Mahamaya College, Khargaon District, Korea, Chhattisgarh. I have been assigned to discuss about or to deliver my lecture on the most famous novel written in 19th century. It was published in 1850, entitled The Scarlet Letter, written by Nathaniel Hawthorne. And before we proceed our discussion, I would like to throw light on some of the salient happenings on salient feature of this particular novel, so that you can get acquainted yourself. So please listen this particular overview attentively and very carefully, so that you can generate the recognition in this particular novel. So this novel, The Scarlet Letter, opens with a long preamble. Preamble, the beginning is there, some kind of introductory speeches in a written form. So it opens with a long preamble about how the book came to be written. So the nameless narrator was there. Okay? So the nameless narrator, or the surveyor, of the custom house in Salem, Massachusetts. In the custom house attics, he discovered a number of documents. Among them, there was a manuscript that was bundled with a scarlet, gold embroidered patch of cloth in the shape of an A, capital A. Embroidery, it was wrapped in embroidered cloth. So this particular manuscript, just listen to it. You will really find it very, very enjoyable. This particular manuscript, the work of a past surveyor, detailed events that occurred some 200 years before the narrator's time, when the narrator lost his custom post. So that particular narrator, you can just guess who is that narrator. As the discussion moves ahead, you will come to know. So when the narrator, when he lost the custom house, he decided to write a fictional account of the event recorded in the manuscript. So the Scarlet Letter is the final product of that particular findings in the custom house by the surveyor. He was working there. He found it incidentally. That particular manuscript wrapped in an embroidered cloth, and there was found a capital letter A written over it. So the story begins in 17th century Boston. Okay, though it was published in 19th century, but the story belongs to 17th century Boston. Then a Puritan settlement, a young woman, Hester Prynne. She is the chief protagonist of this particular novel. Very, very nice, very hard-headed, and very bold lady. She is led from the town prison from her infant daughter, Pearl. She is having a daughter. So the next character, Pearl, the daughter of Hester Prynne. She is carrying her daughter in her arms, and the scarlet letter A on her breast. My God. At the very beginning, we come across that the letter in a capital A was just there on her breast. A man in the crowd tells an elderly onlooker that Hester is being punished for adultery. So why was she having that scarlet letter on her breast? So it's a matter of a great discussion, because she was punished for adultery. Further, Hester's husband, a scholar much older than she, is sent her ahead to America, but he never arrived Boston. And the consensus was that, well, the people started thinking that he has been lost at sea and he was not to come back again. In the meanwhile, while waiting for her husband, Hester Prynne was waiting for her husband. Hester has apparently had an affair. In between, she had got an affair. She fell in love with a person. And she has given birth to a child out of that particular fellow without having the marriage wedlock. And for that, she was punished for the adultery. She never revealed her lover's identity. Okay. However, and the Scarlet Letter, along with her public shaming, is a punishment for her sin and her secrecy. Many times authorities tried their level best to ask the question who he was. They were asking about her lover, but she never discovered it. She never disclosed it. So, but she again refuses to identify. Again and again she goes on refusing to identify her child's father. Okay. Then the elderly, one of the elderly onlooker is Hester's missing husband. And his name is Roger Chillingworth. Maybe pseudonym. You will come to know. Who is now practicing medicine and calling himself Roger Chillingworth. He settles in Boston, intent on revenge. He was very vindictive, He reveals his true identity to no one but Hester, whom he has sworn to secrecy. Several years pass. The time passes. You cannot stop time to pass. Hester supports herself by working as a seamstress. She was a very skilled woman, She started doing some embroidery work, and everybody started liking it. And she started earning money also, just for the sake of looking after her daughter, facing against all the odds of life. You can just imagine. She was isolated. She was cast away from that particular town. She was forced to live alone. Nobody met with her. But as soon as people came to know about her skilled hands, so they started giving some kind of work so that she could get her livelihood. Okay? So further, Hester, that is how, supports herself by working as a seamstress, and Pearl grows into a willful, impish child. She grows a willful, little bit haughty, stubborn, all the time giving responses, whatever question is raised. If the neighborhood, children of the neighborhood start playing naughty tricks on her, she very, very violently used to respond. So they live in a small cottage on the outskirts of Boston. Community officials attempt to take Pearl away from Hester. And then all of a sudden again, a very, very drastic thing happened with Hester, that the local authorities think that Pearl has not committed any crime of adultery. And in the accompaniment of her mother, she will be getting spoiled. So they try to take away her daughter from Hester Prynne. But with the help of Arthur Dimmesdale, a young and eloquent minister, they are working there, the mother and daughter manage to stay together. Anyhow, she manages to get her daughter stay with her. Dimmesdale, the third name of the character, appears to be wasting away and suffers from a mysterious kind of heart trouble, seemingly caused by psychological distress. Chillingworth attaches himself to ailing minister. He is giving some kind of medicine, because Chillingworth is known for his great knowledge on medication. He really has a great knowledge of medicines. So he eventually moves in with him so that he can provide his patient with round-the-clock care. So Chillingworth also suspects, there is a suspicion in his mind that there may be a connection between the minister's torment and Haster's secret. Okay? And he begins to test Dimmesdale to see what he can learn from him. One afternoon, while the minister sleeps, what was the name of that minister? Dimmesdale, okay? And now Roger Chillingworth is trying to discover a mark on that man's breast, the detail of which are kept from the reader, which convinces him that his suspicions are correct. And what was that mark? The letter A was written on his chest. So Dimmesdale's psychological anguish deepens, and he invents new torture for himself, because his whole existence is filled with a sense of guilt that he is having a daughter. He is really the father of Pearl and the lover of Hester Prynne. Okay? So his whole existence and mentality is full of a typical guilt that he is not able to just open out himself before the public. In the meantime, Hester's charitable deeds and quiet humility have earned her a reprieve from the scorn of the community. So little bit people have started having some kind of mercy over her. So one night when Pearl is about 7 years old, she and her mother are returning home from a visit to a deathbed when they encounter Dimmesdale atop the town scaffold, trying to punish himself for his sins. Okay? He is trying to punish himself just for the sake of that sin which he committed. And what was that sin? So he was having a daughter without having the wedlock. And Hester Prynne was publicly condemned. And he just watched each and every happening. He could not support her. So he felt himself guilty. Okay. Hester and Pearl join him, and thus the three link hands, just understanding the circumstances and the situations. Dimmesdale refuses Pearl's request that he acknowledges her publicly the next day. He is enforced that he should publicly acknowledge this particular truth that he belongs to them, and Pearl is his daughter, and Hester Prynne is his lover. So Hester can see that minister's condition is worsening because he was suffering from some kind of heart trouble, and she resolves to intervene. She goes to Chillingworth and asks, and who is the Chillingworth? Chillingworth is Hester Prynne's real husband, who went to America and never came back for long years. And in the meantime, this love affair took place with Dimmesdale, okay? So she goes to Chillingworth and asks him to stop adding to Dimmesdale's self-torment. But Chillingworth refuses. Anyhow, she arranges an encounter with Dimmesdale in the forest because she is aware that Chillingworth, her husband, has probably guessed that she plans to reveal his identity to Dimmesdale. The former lovers decide to flee to Europe. Finally, they decide to leave that place. They want to live their life peacefully. So Hester Prynne, then Pearl, then Dimmesdale, they have just reached to the conclusion, they have decided themselves that they should leave that particular place just for the sake of living peacefully. Okay. So the former lovers decide to flee to Europe. They just take a ship sailing from Boston in 4 days. Both feel a sense of release that they are leaving that bloody place, and has to remove her scarlet letter from her neck and lets down her hair. And now Pearl is very happy. She does not, though, recognize her mother without the letter, because she was very much accustomed to seeing that capital A on her breast. Further, Hester has learned that Chillingworth knows of their plan, because Chillingworth has also booked a ticket, booked a passage on the same ship. Dimmesdale, leaving the church after the sermon, sees Hester and Pearl standing before the town scaffold. He impulsively mounts the scaffold with his lover and his daughter and confesses. Now the confession comes publicly, exposing a scarlet letter seared into his flesh of his chest. He falls dead, unfortunately, there itself, because he was suffering from some heart trouble. And since he had publicly accepted or confessed his sin, so he was free from all kind of guilt. But unfortunately, he dies there in the presence of Pearl and Hester. So frustrated in the revenge, so he could not take revenge. Who? Chillingworth could not take revenge on him. So Chillingworth also dies after some time. So the Hester and Pearl leave Boston, and no one knows what has happened to them. But many years later, Hester returns alone, still wearing the scarlet letter, to live in her old cottage, resume her charitable work of charity, just for the sake of the help to the society. She receives occasional letters from Pearl, who has married a European aristocrat. Now the things have changed, the whole time has changed, and established a family of her own. When Hester dies, she is buried next to Dimmesdale. The two share a single tombstone, which hears a scarlet. So there is engraved the letter, that capital letter, in their tombstones, A. So that is the end of this beautiful novel, my dear students. It was just an overview. We shall be discussing about the chapter-wise elaboration. I hope you would find it very, very helpful for the sake of your acknowledgement of this particular novel entitled The Scarlet Letter. And I would like to share the meaning of the scarlet. The scarlet means the brilliant red, and the red is the sign of something inauspicious, something very, very inauspicious. So please go through this discussion so that you can get yourself acknowledged and you can get some kind of recognition with this particular novel, The Scarlet Letter, written by Nathaniel Hawthorne. Thank you very much.